Finally, a real family vacation without the burden dragging us down. #blessed #family first. Read the Instagram caption beneath a photo of my entire family toasting champagne on a Maldivian beach, posted while I sat in my Manhattan office. The comments flooded in immediately. Heart emojis from relatives, gorgeous family, from her followers, and my personal favorite from Aunt Linda. So much better without the drama. But what made me smile wasn't the 847 likes or the cruel caption. It was knowing that my sister Charlotte had just posted evidence of her family's unauthorized stay at my private resort. "Miss Blackwood?" My assistant knocked gently. "The Coral Gardens Resort is on line 1. They say it's urgent regarding your guests." I spun in my chair to face the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park. "Tell them to proceed as discussed. And Marcus? Send a bottle of champagne to my office. The good stuff." 3 hours ago, Charlotte had no idea that her burden of a little sister owned the exclusive resort where she was flaunting her family's perfection. 3 hours from now, she'd understand why you should always read the fine print, especially when the owner's name is listed as Blackwood Enterprises. My phone buzzed with notifications. The family group chat I'd been removed from months ago was apparently in chaos, according to my cousin James, who was secretly screenshotting everything for me. "James, holy shit, Eva. Charlotte's losing her mind. Security just showed up at their villa." "Me? Already? They're more efficient than I expected." "James, she's screaming about conspiracies. Your mom's crying. Want me to keep recording?" "Me? Every second." I pulled up Charlotte's Instagram. The perfect family photo was still there: my parents, Charlotte, her husband Richard, their 3 kids, and my brother Dylan with his wife. Everyone except the family disappointment who chose Silicon Valley over a respectable marriage to the Patterson boy. The burden. That's what I'd become when I refused to follow Charlotte's life plan. Marry well, produce grandchildren, join the country club. Instead, I'd moved to California, founded a tech company, and apparently became dead to them. Well, the dead sometimes rise. And sometimes they buy luxury resorts. My laptop pinged with an email from the resort manager. "Ms. Blackwood, as requested, we've informed the party in Villa 12 that their reservation was canceled due to breach of contract. They're claiming this is a mistake and demanding to speak to the owner. How would you like us to proceed? Jonathan Park, General Manager." I typed back quickly. "Tell them the owner will meet with them in the main office in 1 hour. Have security standing by." Then I made a call. "Hi Sarah, it's Eva. Remember that documentary you wanted to film about family dynamics and wealth? I have something that might interest you." Eva Blackwood, tech genius offering me exclusive content. Sarah laughed. "What's the catch?" "No catch. Just bring your camera crew to JFK. Private jet leaves in 40 minutes. "To where?" "The Maldives. Trust me, you'll want this footage." I'd met Sarah Chen at a charity gala 2 years ago, right after my second company went public. She was an award-winning documentarian, always looking for stories about power, family, and betrayal. Today, I'd give her all 3. My phone rang. Unknown international number. "Hello? Who do you think you are?" Charlotte's shriek could have shattered crystal. "This is illegal. This is harassment. This is my resort," I said calmly, putting her on speaker while I packed my laptop. "Hello, Charlotte. Enjoying your vacation?" Silence. Then, "Eva?" Surprise, though I prefer Ms. Blackwood these days. More professional, don't you think? "This, you don't. How could you possibly own the most exclusive resort in the Maldives?" Simple. I bought it. I grabbed my passport. With money. You know, that thing you said I'd never have because I was throwing my life away on silly computer games. "That's not. We thought you were in California." "I am. I'd also own properties in 12 countries. Funny how silly computer games can be lucrative when you sell them to Microsoft." I headed for the elevator. "But don't worry, I'm on my way. We could discuss your unauthorized use of my property in person." "Unauthorized? We booked this fair and square. Under false pretenses. Check your booking confirmation. There's a clause about accurate representation. Posting photos claiming it's a family vacation while deliberately excluding a family member. Iced. That's fraud, Charlotte. Your lawyer husband should know that." "You can't be serious." Deadly. See you in 20 hours. Try not to steal anything before I get there. I hung up and immediately texted the resort. Move them to the staff quarters, the ones without air conditioning. The flight to the Maldives gave me time to reflect. 2 years of silence from my family. 2 years of being cropped out of photos, uninvited from holidays, erased from the family narrative. It started when I refused Richard's brother's proposal, a perfect match that would have trapped me in Charlotte's suburban nightmare. You're 32. She'd screamed. This is your last chance at a real life. I have a real life, I told her. Just not the one you planned for me. The final break came when I sold my first company instead of attending her vow renewal. Some stupid app was worth more than her dream wedding, apparently. The family took her side, naturally. Charlotte had given them grandchildren. I'd given them, what? Embarrassment that I wasn't married? Shame that I chose career over family? Now I'd given them a free vacation they couldn't afford and a lesson in reading the fine print. Sarah met me at the private terminal in Malé with her crew. This better be worth the jet lag, Blackwood. Trust me. I handed her the folder I compiled. Family dynamics, wealth, betrayal, and a twist ending. Everything you love. She flipped through it, eyes widening. They don't know you own it. They do now. Charlotte called me screaming 6 hours ago. I smiled. Apparently, they're very upset about their new accommodations. You moved them. To staff quarters. They wanted a family vacation without the burden. I simply removed the burden of luxury. Sarah's grin was predatory. I love you. Can we film the confrontation? That's why you're here. The seaplane ride to the resort was peaceful. 26 islands of paradise, crystal clear water, overwater villas that cost more per night than most people made in a month. I'd bought it 18 months ago through a shell company, a comfort purchase after another family rejection. Miss Blackwood. Jonathan met us at the dock, looking frazzled. They're in the conference room. Security is managing the situation. Managing? Your brother-in-law tried to break down your office door. We've contained him. Perfect. Sarah, cameras ready? Always. The walk to the main building was surreal. Staff members nodded respectfully, some smiling. They knew who I was, had always known. I'd made sure they were taken care of, bonuses, better health care, education programs for their children. Happy employees meant a successful resort. Eve. My mother's voice hit me before I even opened the conference room door. When I walked in, camera crew behind me, the scene was almost comedic. My entire family crammed around a table meant for board meetings, looking sunburned and furious in their vacation wear. Hello, Mother. I took the seat at the head of the table. Everyone, having a good trip? This is kidnapping, Richard stood, pointing dramatically. False imprisonment. Fraud. Sit down, Richard, before you embarrass yourself further. I opened my laptop. Let's discuss fraud, shall we? Charlotte, pull up your Instagram. What? Your post. The one about family vacations without burdens. Pull it up. She fumbled with her phone, glancing nervously at the cameras. This is ridiculous. 847 likes, I continued. Quite popular. Tell me, when you called me a burden, were you referring to my financial burden? Because according to my records, you've been staying in Villa 12. That's $15,000 a night. 7 nights. Plus meals, spa treatments, excursions. I turned my laptop screen toward them. Your current bill is $237,462. But family gets a discount, right? We booked this normally, Dylan finally spoke, through the website. Through a special promotional link, yes, one that offered 90% off to valued guests. I smiled. That link was sent to Charlotte's email after she posted about needing a real family vacation. Funny how targeted advertising works. You trapped us. My mother's voice was small. I marketed to you. There's a difference. I leaned back. The same way Charlotte marketed our family as better without me. How's that working out? This is illegal, Richard repeated, but with less conviction. Actually, everything's perfectly legal. You accepted the terms and conditions. You posted publicly about your family vacation. You enjoyed 5 days of luxury on my dime. I closed the laptop. Now let's discuss why you're really here. To vacation, Charlotte started. To flaunt, I cut her off. To show everyone how perfect your life is without the embarrassing sister who chose career over marriage. Tell me, Charlotte, how many photos did you crop me out of before deciding it was easier to just stop inviting me? Silence. 23, I answered for her. I kept count. 23 family photos where you edited me out. 3 Christmas cards. 1 family reunion banner. I looked at my parents. Did you even notice? Or was it easier to pretend I never existed? You chose to leave, my father's first words. You abandoned this family for California. I chose to live. I stood, walking to the window overlooking the lagoon. I chose to build something instead of marrying someone. And you all chose Charlotte's narrative, that I was a burden, a disappointment, a failure. You are a failure. Charlotte exploded. You're 34, unmarried, no children. I'm 34, worth $800 million and own the resort you couldn't afford without fraud. I turned back to them. Which one of us is the failure? The number hung in the air like a bomb. 800 million. Their faces cycled through disbelief, envy, and calculation. That's not possible, Richard whispered. 2 companies sold, 3 current ventures, and a real estate portfolio that includes this paradise. I gestured around. Possible, probable, and proven. All while being dead to you. We could have helped each other, my mother said tearfully. Family helps family. Family doesn't call family burdens on social media. I pulled out my phone, scrolling to Charlotte's post. Should I read the comments? Aunt Linda's was particularly creative. Cousin Michael suggested I probably became a stripper, so supportive. That was just, we were hurt, Charlotte tried. You missed my vow renewal for work. I missed your vow renewal to close a $100 million deal. I looked at her steadily. The deal that bought this resort, actually. So in a way, you're vacationing on the profits of that missed party. Sarah's crew was getting everything. The tears, the anger, the slow realization that their burden had surpassed them all. What do you want? Dylan asked finally. An apology? I wanted a family, I said simply. But that ship sailed when you all decided I was worth less than Charlotte's approval. So this is revenge? Charlotte's voice was bitter. This is consequence. I returned to my seat. You wanted a vacation without me. Congratulations, you can have it. But not here, not on my property, not on my dime. You're kicking us out. My mother looked stricken. Your own family. The family that disowned me. Yes. I stood. You have 1 hour to pack. The seaplane will take you to Malé. Your return flights to New York are unchanged. Eva, please, my father tried. We can work this out. We could have. 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 6 months ago, I headed for the door. But you chose Charlotte's narrative. Now live with it. What about the bill? Richard called out. We can't afford. Then you shouldn't have booked it. I paused at the door. Though I hear the Patterson boy is doing well. Maybe Charlotte should have married him instead of you. The door closed on their shocked faces. Sarah followed me out, cameras still rolling. That was, she started. Necessary. I walked toward my private villa, the one they'd never seen. They spent 2 years telling everyone I was a burden. Now they know the burden was their own blindness. The documentary will show exactly what happens when families choose favorites. I stopped, looking back at the conference room. Title it The Burden of Success. Make sure to include Charlotte's Instagram posts. My phone buzzed. James had sent a screenshot from the family group chat I wasn't part of. Charlotte, she set us up. This is entrapment. Aunt Linda. I can't believe Eva owns that resort. Dylan, we should have listened when she tried to explain her company. Michael, does anyone have her number? I laughed, showing Sarah. Now they want my number. Will you give it to them? No. I walked into my villa, paradise stretching before me. They made their choice. Chose their perfect family photos without the imperfect sister. Now they can live with those photos. An hour later, I watched from my deck as security escorted them to the seaplane. Charlotte was crying. Richard was on his phone, probably with lawyers. My parents walked slowly, suddenly looking their age. They'd have their photos from 5 perfect days. Instagram evidence of their family vacation. But every time they looked at them, they'd remember who owned the paradise they'd lost. Sarah joined me on the deck with 2 glasses of champagne. To burdens lifted. To burdens who rise. We toasted as the seaplane took off, carrying my family back to their lives without me. Charlotte's Instagram post was still up, 1,247 likes now. The comments had shifted, people asking about the drama, the sudden departure, the owner's name. Tomorrow, it would probably go viral when Sarah's footage hit the internet. But tonight, I sat in my resort on my island in my paradise. The burden they'd discarded had built an empire while they were cropping photos. My phone rang. Charlotte. I let it go to voicemail, then blocked the number, then Dylan, then my parents, one by one, erasing them the way they'd erased me. Family first, Charlotte had hashtagged. She was right. I just chose a different family, the one I built, not the one I was born into. And that family didn't call anyone a burden. The sun set over the Indian Ocean, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. Somewhere, a seaplane carried my former family back to their lives. But here in the paradise they couldn't afford, the real burden had finally been lifted. Me.